A good portion of my business is predicated on pitching clients with landing pages or hi-fi mock-ups. The problem with that is creating a hi-fi mock-up or a landing page usually eats up a significant amount of my time. The more I pitch, the more jobs I can land, right? So how do we find more time? How do we quickly create these landing pages and actually make a good looking design for a client, all right? I've actually found a way to do that that greatly reduces time it takes to put together these landing pages or designs. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. Hey, I'm Charlie, and I'm going to show you how to use Relume and WordPress together to build a landing page or a high-five mockup, depending on what you're looking to do, in under 60 minutes. More than likely, you can actually do this in about 30 to 45 minutes. I'll walk through the process step by step, and so you can save yourself time and impress your clients. Let's go. Outside of using WordPress and having a WordPress install to work with, everything that I cover in this video is free to use. Relume.io has a free account. Elementor and Astra, we actually will take care of in the back end once we are logged into our WordPress website. Really easy to use. All right, let's make this happen. I'm currently logged into my Relume account. I am using their free version. It allows you to do one project at a time. Of course, if you need more than that, you can always upgrade. The first thing I want to do is click New Project. And then over here to the right is a dialog box, and I'm going to enter my prompt. And for the sake of this video, we're just going to make, basically a fake business. And what I have in here is therapist Anne Green specializes in depression, anxiety, and marriage therapies. And I'm asking it to give me a hero, an introduction, a services section, online therapy section, testimonials section, and a lead capture section. I can choose how many pages it's going to set up for. So basically, it's going to wireframe out, your home page, about page, and whatever internal pages those may be, contact page. I do want to mention that it will not build these pages out in terms of a wireframe on the free account. You must upgrade your subscription to be able to do that. But for now, this is good enough. Let's go ahead and generate the sitemap. And then we'll see right away, here's the home page, here's each section, here are the pages below that if we're going to use these to be generated. But again, the free version does not do it, at least at the time of this video, does not do that. But our focus right now is just on this home page. So let's see, hero section, features in there twice. I don't know that I need that. So I'm going to right click and delete. Testimonials. And a form is a testimonial service. Okay, so I'm happy with this. This is good. And once you are happy, once you are set, we're going to go ahead and click wireframe. And this is going to basically design out this wireframe, a lo-fi wireframe. And just like that, it's done. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Let's see what we got. One of the things that I really like about Relume is not only is it giving us the layout for you, it's actually producing content. The content's not too bad. The content is good enough to give to a client. Gone are the days of doing lorem ipsum fake text. It's actually going to give you relative output in regards to headings, your context, your content, and all that kind of stuff. So we can actually change and edit these things now, or we can do it later. I prefer later than do that now, because the whole idea here is we want to produce this layout as quickly as possible, and we can come back and update the content as needed. All right, so I actually want to do a whole banner image here, and then have the text sort of centered, maybe a button in the middle. So what I'm going to do is select this, make sure I'm highlighted, and then over here I can actually replace this entire component. So I'll click component, replace component. This one's kind of close, but I really want the text to be centered. I'm like, this one is actually not too bad, so I'll click this one. That's what we want. This section is not too bad. I'm gonna leave that one as is. I do like this one. Client feedback. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm going to change this one to something a little more simple. Maybe this will be good. All right. This is kind of silly. CTA, and then right below that another one with an email capture. That's kind of goofy. I think I will I think I'm going to delete this one actually. Get rid of this one. Right click, delete. And I kind of want this, but with maybe a solid color or an image background. So let's see. Replace component. This one's kind of close, but I would like to have it centered. This one, yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm good with this. Of course, tweak it as you see fit. This is just what I'm going for. And once we have this all set, now we're ready to start building and designing this in WordPress. All right, I already have a WordPress set up and installed. I will probably more than likely do a video on installing WordPress for the first time for those of you that don't know how to do that. But I'm skipping that step right now. I already have an install set up. I'm assuming at this point that you know how to do that and you as well have an install set up for WordPress. I'm going to come into plugins. I'm going to do add new. And I'm going to search for starter. And this is what we're looking for, starter templates. Go ahead and click install. And once that's set, we're going to choose activate. And it's going to launch us right into that. So I want to mention they do have a website builder, an AI website builder. Maybe in the future this gets better, but right now it's just not cutting it. And this kind of seems to be par for course. I've tried a handful out of AI website builders and they're just not that good. This one is in that, similar in that regard. Maybe one day they're going to figure this out, but right now it's just not that good. We as humans can do a better job. So what we're going to want to do is come to the right up here on the top. We want to choose our builder, and in this case we're going to do Elementor. And it's going to give us some themes to choose from. So we're going to choose basically a starter template, and then we're going to modify that. And the one that I want to work with, that I've been working with, is this outdoor adventure one. I think this is a nice and clean one. It already has the image that I want to use with the text centered. It's got the menu built in. So this one's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. Now what we're going to see is we can load our logo if we want. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We can do our font pairings. I actually like the one that it starts with the default one. Then our colors, I personally think red colors on websites is bad. That's my personal preference, so I'm not going to use that. When I think about therapy, depression, psychology, getting some sort of mental, therapy, mental help, I'm thinking blues, maybe greens. So I think this blue is kind of nice. So let's go ahead and do that one. I do not need any of these things. We'll skip this step. And then I do not want to share my data. And this doesn't take too long. This will take a minute or two tops. And it's going to go ahead and construct this layout. Normally, when we're building out websites, even if we're installing a pre-built template, it takes a little bit of time. But we already know right now what we're doing, what we're working towards, because we have this starting template that we created in Relume. This wireframe is already set for us, and all we need to do is translate this over to the site that we're working with. All right. Boom, congratulations, we are ready to go. Let's go ahead and view our website. And exactly as we expected it, this was the template. And what we're going to want to do is come in here and modify this to match the layout that we created in Relume. Now, this next step may seem a little counterintuitive. It may seem out of the ordinary, but what we're going to want to do is basically delete all this out except for this header and come in there and replace this with our preferred blocks, our preferred elements, modules, whatever you want to call it. And the reason we're doing that is a lot of this, what's going on here is this template has a lot of predefined styles and elements, such as this blue background, the font choices and things like that. So we're going to want to get rid of this so we can dictate what we're going to put in here. All right, so we'll go ahead and click edit with Elementor. All right, and then we're just going to start removing stuff. So I'm going to click this, right click it. There's multiple ways you can do this. I'm a right clicker kind of a person. Delete, right click, delete. This picture actually is pretty cool, but nonetheless, delete, delete. And this background, that's one of the first things that we need to change. So right now I have this background. We have no modules. We're going to want to change the color here. Let's click globals. Oops, I didn't mean globals. I daydreaming here. Site settings, sorry about that. We want to find background. And then we want to find the color. And then we see all these colors here. I want white, which I already have selected, white. All right, click Save Changes. If you're following along, making this change now, this will highlight blue so you can see it, but I've already actually made this change and this adjustment. Let's go ahead and save that. And if we now come back here, we start adding our elements and whatnot, the background will be now white because that's what we set. All right, next thing I'm going to do is check out the setup from our wireframe and see what we got going on. So we need text here, along with this button and then this next section. So because we want to present this to a client or a potential client, we're going to copy this text over. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this, highlight this box here. There we go. And now it looks a little goofy, right? I think the line height's a little high. We don't want a hanging word, a widowed word, just one single word down here. We want to fix this. So we can do that a couple different ways. I'm actually going to decrease or increase the font size here, as well as the line height in between. So what we want to do is come over to Style. We'll see Typography, right? And then we'll see if I start doing this size bar here, it's going to start changing. This looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. And then the same thing with line height. Just until it works for you, until you think it looks nice. We don't need this. So that's out. This blue line's kind of cool. Not really in the wireframe, but that's okay. I think it's okay to tweak and modify the wireframe at least as you see fit. Okay, so we'll leave that there. Next thing we want to do is add this section of text. So I'll copy that. I'll come over here and we can see all these different little widgets and things that we can add. So it's really simple text editor, and I can just drag this right over. Drop it in. Now I do want to make a comment for the text editor. If you're copying and pasting from from another source, whether it's a Google Doc, a Word doc, whatever it may be, you're going to want to use the text editor as opposed to the visual, because the visual you'll more often than not bring in unwanted styling and code. Using the text editor will get rid of that. So I'll paste this in, and the text is there, but we can't really see it, right? So it's black. So again, style, text, color. We can click on this one. All right, now we have white. And gonna align this. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. All right, next we're gonna want to go back to I want to increase this to 100 so I can see this better. All right, so now we want something similar to this. So a picture on the right, information on the left, bullets maybe. We'll see. How we feel when we get to that part. And go back to our layouts. And then we're going to click the S here. Okay, and what we can do is if we select the block section up here, is we can choose a bunch of different pre-designed, pre-styled sections, and we can just drop those right in there. So there we go. So I'm trying to find something that looks similar to this, right? Image on the right, text on the left. Let's see, this one's a lot of left. This one's got FAQ questions, not quite there. This one's kind of close. Not really sure how important those FAQ or those bullet points are. This one I kind of like, nice and simple. This one has a button. I kind of like having the idea of having a button for a call to action. So I think what I'm going to do is go with this one. Import the block. Okay, so not too bad. Let's go ahead and work on this text. All right. Copy this text. Okay. I kind of like how that is. Now we need this text. Let me get rid of this one here. Remember text editor, not the other one. I'm actually gonna line break this. All right, so call to action button. What is the project? Oh, we don't have a button there, so we can just make this up how we want it. So it says call to action. How about free consultation? Easy peasy. Image is kind of, silly, right? We don't necessarily need this image. We want a different image. And if we come to the media library, let me back up because I might be going too fast here, so I apologize. So over here in this image, we want to replace this one, and which reminds me, I need to replace this one too. I forgot about that, and I'll come back to that in a second. Let's click it. This should load up over here. We'll select this box, and then we can come to free images in the media library. This is part of this package, part of the starter package template, which is great. I'll select it. I kind of want something to be square because that's kind of what the layout is, already is a square. And then, how about smiling woman? Let's see what we get here. If you don't find a relatable picture, you can change your search. Yeah, I'm not really feeling these. How about therapist? That's the wrong therapist, right? That's a... All right. Forest for now. Oh, I kind of like this one. So this one's kind of cool. Boom, I like it. I did forget to change out this image here. So let's see if we can work on that. All right. Same thing for images, and I think I want something like a couch, because that's what kind of, not as much these days since therapy, a lot of it's done online, but the olden days, something with a couch. So this one's pretty neat. I like it. All right, now we are getting somewhere, aren't we? All right, so I tend to get paranoid, so I'm gonna save this. It's always a good idea to save your work as you go. Power outage, something happens, your dog steps on your power switch and you lose all your work. All right. I've decided to leave out these bullet points here for this section. And then we're gonna come out of this section. All right, so we got some sort of a title, and then we got 3 service boxes, right? I can already see that this is probably gonna bug me where they're not all the same height, meaning that this title here is longer than this one and this one. I'm not sure if I'm really going to change that now or not. I will say, if you're not happy with an output before you're finished, you can select on it, and you can see how it says Ask AI, and then I can do different things like rewrite it, make it shorter, make it longer. I can do a bunch of different stuff. So let's just make it shorter here. Still one extra word. So we're going to leave this as it is because we don't want to mess with this too much. So, all right. So let's go here back to the starter template, just like we did for this section here. And then blocks, and then something like this, right? But we need a title. So this one's got some boxes with lines. I don't know that I want that. We can also do some sort of a search. Whoops, I can't spell. Featured, that doesn't work. Hero works. How about services? Let's see what we get here. Services, close. Not feeling it though. Not big enough in the pictures part. You know, and it's also not that big of a deal if, hey, this is kind of cool. Maybe I go this route, right? Maybe you find something you like better than what the wireframe gave you, but we're going to stick to the wireframe. So this is not really working. So let's just go this way. Let's see. I was about to say, if you see something and I don't see it, holler and let me know, but clearly that is not possible. You cannot let me know in a pre-recorded video. This one is probably close, and I can drop in a title, so let's choose this one. Insert block. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I know I will add a title. Let's see, a heading. Yeah. Oops, that is not what I want to do. I do not want to do that. Alright, I got too far ahead of myself. Alright, so what I'm going to want to do is hit the plus sign here. And then go ahead and drag in a heading. I will select this and then center has our heading text. We'll copy this over. Content. Alright, so now we're alright, so not really happy with how this is set up. So what we can do is we can work with this a little bit. So if I select this and I go to advanced, I can kind of play with this a little bit, and there's multiple different ways that I can kind of squeeze. I want to squeeze this text in, and you know, maybe so therapy tailored to your needs on the second line. I of course can just do that, but then if you do this, you can have issues on phone and on different screen sizes. So I prefer, and this is just me, to use a preset padding or margin to determine the line break here. So, and I also can do that in percent or in pixels. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this because I don't want this giving space down here. I only want left and right. So left and right. We can see how we start changing this. So let's just go ahead and do 50. Having all sorts of problems. Still not where we need to be. 100, and we're going to need to do the same thing from over here. All right, so that's pretty good. I like that one. All right, so we still have this giant space here. How we get rid of that? Let's make sure this container is selected, right? And then same area under advanced, and we'll see that there's a bunch of padding already added to the top and to the bottom. So we'll see that here. The bottom is okay, but I don't want this giant gap here. All right, so what I'm going to want to do is remove this. I think that's pretty good. All right, moving along. Now here's where we're going to start running into a little bit of the issues because these titles are going to be long. You know, that's a really long one. So let's see what we get here. No, not bad. 3 and 3. How about this last one? Maybe we're going to get lucky, but I think this one is going to be 4 lines. I had the feeling of, there it is, 5 lines, even worse, right? So let's see if we can do a quick fix, because the whole point here is either a hi-fi, a high fidelity wireframe we can show a client that we already have or working with, or a landing page that we're trying to sell to a potential client. We're trying to gain their business. We're trying to get them to trust us. So we can shorten some things, work some things, manipulate some things to help us get through this. Or, if I want to send out 3 of these today, I'm not going to spend 8 hours working on these. So I'm going to try to fine tune and reduce some areas that take a lot of time. And this is a spot that I can do that. Let's see. So maybe I just do this. That's a little silly. I'm going to try one last gasp at the rewrite, make it shorter. So let's see what this one's like. Back here. How about that? Whoops, excuse me. There we go. All right, we're getting there. Go ahead and replace the content, and it's possible that we run into the same problem with the content, but let's hope not. And I apologize again if I'm going too fast. So basically I'm selecting here, and then I'm coming over to the editor, and I'm doing it in text mode, because again, we don't want to bring over any unwanted stylings that we may be grabbing from Relume or a document or wherever else. All right, so now that's good. We have equal height. I like it. Time to work on some pictures. Same thing, select the picture, just as we did before. Free images, right? So let's see. I'm gonna do a couch again. Definitely not someone's feet. That is terrible. We don't want that. All right, that's good. We'll do this one. Anxiety. I wonder if I do anxiety, what it will show us. Let's see. It's not too bad. So some of these are a little tough. This one actually is all right. So we'll do him. Boom. This is something about relationships. So maybe a couple. How about that? There we go. Good. Again, so we can settle paranoia. I'm going to go ahead and save my work thus far. All right, moving along. What do we got next? And if we scroll down, now we have testimonial section. Once again, click the starter icon, blocks. I can just do test. It's going to show testimonial. Now we got a couple of words. We just want something nice and simple and easy. I do know with therapy, and you're going to have to think about this when you're doing these mock-ups. Think about your client and who they service. For therapists that cannot have pictures and images of the people that their patients, their clients. You can have a testimonial, and the testimonials got to be written in a certain way. So pictures are out, right? So I'm probably going to do something simple like this. I don't really care for my happy clients or anything. So this one's nice and easy, and I'm just going to try to edit this one to get rid of this picture. You really can't have names, so you might be able to have happy client, something like that. But at least at the time of this video, let me rephrase that. Certain states have this law, so it might not be for every state, but for my state it is. All right, so import block. Okay, that's a lot of space, so I'm going to address this one because I know there's 120 pixels here, right? So I'm going to come in here, click this one, advanced, there's the 120. Let's see if we do 50. It's a little closer now. It's a bit better. I do like that. Oh, I forgot the buttons. Why didn't you guys say anything? We forgot the buttons here, right? We forgot the buttons. What am I doing? What am I doing? Button. click here. So let's see, earn more, I guess, right? All right, so quick little thing is we can just duplicate this, right? Drag it over, right click, duplicate, whoops, drag it over. All right. Let's move on down. All right, back to her. I like the quote here. I don't need to say the testimonial. I think by looking at it that we know it's a testimonial. Still too much space, at least in my opinion. So I'll just select it, advance, and there's top padding. How about 50? There we go. That's better. Come to Relume. She gives me a fake testimonial, which is wonderful. I'll select this. Love it. All right, down to her. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was kind of hoping to just delete her picture, but not. Oh, there we go. Get rid of her. Let's see. Client. I'm going to actually do Brittany F. All right. Probably some space will need to be adjusted here, but let's get to the next spot and see where we're at. All right, so now we're gonna look for a CTA. All right, so background image with some, some dark black, opaque black with some opacity set to it so we can read the text, and then some sort of a call to action button. Learn more, book now, consultation, free appointment, whatever the case may be. So let's come here, click our little starter icon again, blocks, and call to action. This one actually is not too bad. I kind of like it. Kind of like this one even. All right. All right, so start your healing today. Out. Let the journey, let your journey begin. Now I'm kind of winging it here. Let your recovery begin. All right. Text. Make sure we're in. All right. Call to action. We obviously don't want it to say call to action, so schedule free consultation. All right. I'm just wondering if I want an image there or if this dark color is good. We do have an image there, some images there. I think I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not sure on the color, so we have a dark blue, right? I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Okay, so and now we're set. So let's go ahead and publish. We're gonna view this page. All right. So obviously we're gonna come back later. We're gonna update and add a logo. Here's the thing about logos. If you're trying to sell a potential client, trying to land a potential client, you're gonna have to do some due diligence on your own to grab their logo to put it in there. You'll have more luck if you can actually insert their logo. The more branding you can do for them as you're showing this, the better off you will be. Same thing with a hi-fi. wireframe. You're going to want access to the logo. I'm assuming if you've already signed them, then you would have access to to that. All right, and then the same goes for this menu. You can go into Elementor. I won't cover it in this video, but we can go in there and update the menu. If you're familiar with Elementor, if you're familiar with WordPress, you should be able to quickly and easily do this. And again, I will probably do a more in-depth video on working with WordPress, especially for beginners, and that may cover things like Elementor, Divi, and other drag and drop builders and themes. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll through. Everything's looking pretty good. Our fonts are lining, our color is lining, our branding, our structure, and the last thing is the footer, and that goes right along the lines of the menu. We can change that back here in the editor in the settings of Elementor. But for this video, for the setup of this video, I'm not going to get too much into that. I would leave this as is, but just come change these few things. Relume does give you some options for your footer. I do like the one they spit out for this one, where it's got the kind of the logo on the left, some stuff here, and then some things over here. I think that's great. I do, however, think for if you're just creating a landing page for a potential client, if you're just creating a hi-fi wireframe, you can get away with something simple here. Of course, if you have more time, if time is on your side, you can go ahead and develop more. But I do like the idea of this particular one is simple, and I can even, just like we did for these other sections, I can come in here and replace this. And just for my end, something very simple like this, is something I would go for, just to kind of get it, across to the client. I definitely don't care for this dark blue here. I would probably maybe make a matching blue for this to that. So that's kind of simple. And then maybe update this information, but we're going to leave that there for now. Just real quick. We can't do that on this end. This would have to be done in the settings for Elementor. Okay, that's it. It looks like took us about 30 minutes to go ahead and put, maybe a little bit less than that, a little bit more than that, to put this wireframe together, this hi-fi wireframe or landing page. And of course, another 10 minutes you can throw in there to set up the menu in the footer area. So that's less than an hour to go completely from nothing, no wireframe, no sitemap, nothing at all, to creating a working landing page, a working hi-fi wireframe, that you can show clients or potential clients.